Hello, this is Amy from BusyBeadsNMaille and Etsy store. I've got the link to the store underneath this video, so be sure and visit and take a look. Also, if you like this video and like what you see, subscribe to my channel. Be sure to leave comments and let me know what you think. All right, let's get started. Today I'm going to be talking about beaded Kumihimo. I've been doing this for a while, and I could never figure out or find how many beads I need to string on each strand to get me a certain size bracelet or necklace. So I researched online and I finally found this kind of formula. Basically, it just says that for each inch of finished braid, you need ½ inch of beads. So let's take that one step further. So if you need an 8-inch bracelet, you need 4 inches of seed beads. So I went ahead and created this chart just so that I would save myself some time. And I thought if I would do that and I would like it, then maybe somebody else would too. So I thought I'd get it out there to you. So I'll tell you first why I've done the finished braid increments from 0.5 ½ inch all the way to 8½ inches. And that's because I do beading with focal beads. I do Kumihimo with focal beads. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So this is what I'm talking about, and I could never figure out how to get this space even on each side and the space in between the focal beads even. So once I created this chart, that became pretty easy. So that's why I've done it for ½ inch all the way up to 8½ because even though I know you can't make a ½ inch bracelet, you do sometimes just need a ½ inch of space in between the focal beads, and it's nice just to have the number right there that you can go back to and not have to do any calculating. So that's why I did it that way. Also, I wanted to talk to you about the size of seed beads. The larger the number, the smaller the bead. Okay, so 60 is smaller, or 60 is going to be larger than the 80, and the 80 are going to be larger than the 11. So what I did for this, to make it even a little bit easier, is I went ahead and I put a ruler at the bottom. It's an actual size ruler. That's actually 6 inches. The trick of it is once you purchase the chart and the PDF, when you print this, you just have to make sure that you print it actual size. Don't do that, what do they call it, scaling or fit to size or fit to page. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but you want to do it actual size. That way you'll be sure you get actual 6 inches and it won't be shrunken, and that'll just throw everything off. So let's get into showing you a little bit of how this chart works. Now I'm going to do the finished braid 1 inch, so I need a ½ inch of beads. I'm going to show you 60, 80, and 11. Now the other thing I want to kind of point out is that even though it says it's the same size seed bead, that doesn't always mean it's the same quality, or that it's consistently, all beads are consistently the same size. So sometimes you can have 60 seed beads and some of them are a little skinnier than others, or some of them are a little fatter than others. So this chart is a good place to start, but it's not going to be 100% correct all the time. But the reason why I put this ruler on is to make that a little easier. So what I do is I start out, I pick out the beads I want to use. I'm going to show you first 60 seed beads. Okay. Now these are all pretty uniform in shape and size. So to do a ½ inch, or to do an inch of braid, you need a ½ inch of beads. So for 60 it says you need 6. Or 5. Sorry, it says you need 5. So I went ahead and I strung 5 beads on here. So let's go ahead and measure it. And there's the ½ inch. And that looks pretty good. Right on, actually. So now you know using these beads, this chart will work. So however long you need the finished braid to be, now you know how many beads you need. Now this is another type of 60 seed bead. a little less uniform. Still pretty good, but not exactly all the same size. So we're gonna we put 5 on there, so we're gonna put that down and take a look. And looks like that's a little below a 1/2 inch. But you know what? That's not enough that I think I'd really worry about it. So I'm gonna say that for these seed beads, I can use my chart and everything will be just fine. So now let's go to size 8/0 seed beads. To get the 1/2 inch of beads, you need 6. So here I've got 6 seed beads, pretty uniform in shape, not bad. So let's go ahead and put that on our chart. That's perfect. All right, so now I know with these seed beads, I can use the chart and I don't have any problems. Here's another type of 8/0 seed bead. These are a lot less uniform. There's a lot of variation in these seed beads between the thickness. So we're gonna go ahead and put on the 6 like it says on the chart, and then we're gonna measure. And that is, wow, that's quite a bit short. So you know what, for these beads, I would probably add on 1 bead. I would say I would need 7 beads for every 1/2 inch on these seed beads. So what's nice about the chart and having the ruler is now I know before I've strung on 50 seed beads onto 8 strands, I now know that I need to make my calculations a little different. So it just saves so much time. All right, so now we're going to talk about 11/0 seed beads. For 1/2 inch on 11/0, you need 9. All right, so here's 9. Now, I pulled these out of my bead stash and realized that I think they're delicas. So while I don't think that this chart would work for delicas, it kind of still does because the principle's the same. For your finished length, you need 1/2 of that in beads. So for even using delica beads, if I want a 1/2 inch or an inch finished, I still need a 1/2 inch of beads. The only thing that's not going to probably match up very well is the number. So let's lay this down. That's almost a bead and a half over. So I would know with these seed beads, I would probably just use 7 for a 1/2 inch. So if I needed 2.5 inches of seed beads, I would do 7 per 1/2 inch instead of the 9 per 1/2 inch. So it helps you figure out, even with some of the different types of beads, the size or the number that you're still going to need. So let's look at some, let's see, 11/0, some Japanese. Now these are pretty good, size and shape, uniform, not bad. I've got 9 of them on there. I lay them down. Wow, that looks good to me. All right, so I know using these seed beads, I can use my chart and everything will be fine. So that's just the gist of how to use this chart and why I created it. The nice thing about having the ruler on the bottom is that you don't have to, well, if you don't have a ruler, now you do. So I hope that you all enjoy this. Like I said, it's not an exact type of thing, but it's such a time saver. Not having to calculate out every single time how many beads you need per inch based on the size of bead. All right, so that's talking about the bead chart. All right, let's move on. All right, so what's a Kumihimo bead template? Well, basically, I created a circle to look like the size of the disc. I even have the hole in the middle. I've got the starting points for an 8 strand, 16, 32, 8, and 24. I even have a line down here so that you can write down the pattern description. I even have on each side, I've got the starting points for the strands. So, you know, you've got one on the left, on the right, top and bottom, left, right, top and bottom. So what you can do is then you can draw on here, let me show you what I'm talking about, the pattern that you do. So we're going to talk about this 2-color swirl just because it's pretty much the most basic one. So 2-color swirl, I've got the black and the red. Down on my description line, I have what I call it. Of course, you call it whatever you will remember it by. And then I have over here just showing what I mean. So basically it's just stripes, every other color. Of course, you don't have to do black and red. You can do whatever color you want to. This is literally just a pattern. It's a template to give you a starting point so that you can make the same bracelet with any color, make it the same every time. I mean, let's say you're at a craft show and somebody sees a bracelet and they just love the pattern, but they're not so sure about the color. Could you do it in a different color? Well, sure, no problem. Come home, you find the pattern you used to make that bracelet, change up the colors, and you're good to go. It just saves time having it all written down so that you don't try to have to remember just by looking at the bracelet or necklace. Now I've got pages and pages of these sitting around the house. So there's also, instead of using lines, you can also use just dots. I saw this on Pinterest and I thought it was really good because on this strand you need two colors, blue and red, then you need blue and white and white and white. So if you had lines representing the strings and the colors, that would get very cluttered. So I like this idea as well. Again, I still have the description, and then I even have how many beads I need of each color on each strand, so that I can get the pattern I like. All right, now if you don't have colored pencils, that's okay too. You can just take a regular pencil or pen and you can number them. Like that's color 1, color 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, etc. You can also do blue or red. I mean, whatever you want to do, however it's going to work for you so that you remember what the pattern was. I still did my 2-color alternating. I tried to do it with the numbers. I can read them, but my chicken scratches probably nobody else could. So that's just another way. And then I also did the dots down here with the lines. Just another example. So in addition to the 8 strand, there's also, I do 12 strand. Now I do 2 types of 12 strands. I do a standard and I do a spiral. I'm going to show you the standard first. So the standard has different starting points than the 8 because now there's 4 more strands. You got 16 and 32 just like the 8 strand, but on the sides now you got 28 and 20, 4 and 12. I still have the dashes to show where the strands go on each side of the number. So what that looks like filled out is that right there. So I've got the colors, and then I have down here what the name of it is and also what the pattern's going to look like. So same concept, just a different strand count. So then the last one is the spiral 12 strand. And spiral 12 strand is on an angle. So I've got the 24 and 8 just like on the 8 strand, but now the top and bottom are offset. What that's going to look like is this. So I've got my 2 colors, my base colors at the top and the bottom, and then I have my accent color on the sides. I've even written down that the accent color, the red, is going to be my outside color. This one I do 8-0 for the inside, and I do 6-0 for the outside. Just makes a really nice looking bracelet. I also, on this one, I had to show where I started, what my moves were, and how to turn it. From time to time, I can't remember, so I just use the template and put it on there. Now the next time I pick this up, I'll know exactly what to do. So that's pretty much it. Pretty much everything I wanted to show you today. Just wanted to kind of give an overview of the chart and the template, show how to use it. Here's the chart again. The link is down below, so feel free to visit the website. This is for sale on our website for 99 cents. I hope you enjoy it. I'm really proud of this. It's something that I searched and searched online for and just couldn't find. And I kind of figured if I needed it, maybe somebody else did too. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get use out of it. And we'll be talking soon. All right, thank you. Bye. Have a blessed day.